Jordan is a national level swimmer, member at FightFit, just coming off a hard workout, and I've just gotten some mail that he's gotten a haircut today. So he's looking good, feeling good. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. Went to get the haircut. Yeah, that sums me up well. Got the haircut, looking fresh tonight.
What are you doing today with Chef?
We was working hard. We did a bit of pads to start with, a lot of slipping, a lot of quick work with the slips, and then had me on the bags on some 2040s, which I was absolutely useless at. Yeah, just 20 seconds as fast as you can or as hard as you can, and then 40 seconds rest and a couple of rounds of that.
How long have you been working with Chef
for?
One of the main trainers at our gym, Chef, for those who don't know.
It's been about 3 years, I think. Well, two years full time, and then a year before that, I was kind of in and out. But yeah, 2 years, I'd say.
Yeah. And you're obviously someone who's competed for Australia at swimming.
Yep.
Which is very, very awesome and exciting. You were meant to do the FightFit Challenge, and then you were pulled out to go to China to compete for Australia. So tell us about how that all came together.
Yeah, that was unreal. So the back end of the year is usually a bit of downtime, but of just doing a few laps, keeping in shape. And, I always wanted to do the FightFit Challenge. And so I put my name down, did 2 weeks of training. And next minute I got the call up to go over to China and compete at the World Champs, which was unbelievable. It's, sum it up. It's like 14 years of hard work, kind of thinking, oh yeah, that's what I'd like to do. And then you go, well, let's go full on. Let's, hammer and tong. Let's get after it. Yeah. A few short misses, and then, you finally do it. It was huge relief, and for me, it was like, I go through the motions. I'm in control of everything. But once I saw my parents and how stoked they were, and then you realize, well, yeah, it's the time commitment that they give you a lot of the time, and you're like, wow, yeah, it means a lot.
It's such a good point to make those around. Like, in all everything that they've put into you and invested in you over the years. And were you always into swimming? How old were you when you started?
I started learn to swim at 3. Just took to the water really fondly. Down up in Brisbane, and then down on the Gold Coast, it's lifestyle being in the water, around the water. So my mum couldn't swim at all, so we did swimming lessons at the exact same time. Opposite ends of the pool. It just began from there, and it's just small steps, and just kept going and couldn't give up. Yeah. Still can't give up.
And swimmers, for whatever reason, decide they want to get up before 5 a.m. every morning. You've got a bit of reason behind that.
Don't ask me that. I've got no idea. I'm up at 5, 6 days a week. Sundays are off. Yeah. And then we do 3 afternoons. But yeah, 5 o'clock every morning. God knows why. Yeah. Hop on the bike and ride to training. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess because you've got so many things to do outside of swimming.
Yeah. A lot of work.
You have to do it in the morning, I guess, and it'd be hard to make a genuine living unless you're probably at the top of the sport.
Yeah. Well, that's true. There's not a lot of money in it, but that's what happens with Olympic sports. There's not a lot of exposure for sponsorship, and we all understand that, which is okay. But yeah, I think it's just because we double a lot with swimming. On a Monday I go 3 sessions, if you will. Swim in the morning, straight away into the gym for a little bit, and then come back in the afternoon for another hard session. And Tuesdays is 2, Wednesdays is a recovery. So today we just did a swim, a gym, and then I come in for a box. It's a bit of fun almost. It's boxing for me is the mental side, less so than the physical. I certainly don't have the fitness boxing wise, but it's definitely that mental training because I don't have that fitness to get to the next level. Whereas in swimming, because I'm so familiar with it after the years, that I can find the points where I can switch on and switch off and, come in and out of it. But in boxing, it's a little more difficult. I've got to find those elements a little harder.
Yeah, a lot of people don't quite understand how difficult boxing really is. And the science behind it. And to people who perhaps haven't done this before, they don't understand it's just, throwing punches, a bit of power and stuff, but just the technique and the mental side of things, and like they're going through the motions so many times in a row to master one thing or to get one thing even moderately correct in my case.
Yeah, I'm the same, dead on. Like throwing 10 straight punches as fast as I can, that's, still a challenge. And it's just, boxing's a challenging sport in the fact that if you were to do, what's the challenge? 3 by 2 minute rounds, you've got to ebb and flow through that. You've got to come up and come back down through your energy levels, and you've got to be able to, then stay calm when somebody throws punches at you. So then you can react to what they're doing and then go, well, it's my turn to hit you. And then you go and hit them, and then they try to hit you. But yeah, that's really challenging. I don't think people really realize how much of a mental side boxing is more than physical. Yeah. Everybody can physically train their hearts out, but, can you stay calm in a fight or flight moment? And I think, that's often the difference between a lot of people can swim, a lot of people can run, a lot of people can play sport. But that's the difference between competing and training is you've got to have that level of mindset to be in there when it's tough and to get after it.
Yeah, I think that definitely when I started boxing, I had a few sort of issues with like anger management and having to and sometimes when something would piss me off, I would just react.
Yep.
Just have a completely visceral sort of reaction to something, and that for me was a pretty big problem, I guess. And you really want to be able to sort of temper yourself, and when something bad happens, you want to be able to have a bit of rationale and be able to take a step back and really think. And in boxing, you have that heat on you. And you have to be able to think under pressure and to not just react, because if you go blazing, then you might get hurt.
Yeah, you'll slip and someone's going to whack you on the chin and see you later.
You leave your chin out. Yeah, exactly right. So it's that skill of being mindful and being present and really having that presence of mind is just such an important part of boxing. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And you see it with a lot of the good boxers and even the trainers here. They know how to throw a punch and they know how to, absolutely put you through the ringer. But when they're all really calm and relaxed, and I think boxing almost slows you down a little bit because you have to think so quick when you're in the ring that, a lot of the guys here are just really quick when they need to be quick and very slow when they need to be slow.
Yeah, definitely. The boxing trainers here definitely have a real presence about them. And as you said, I think that's definitely what boxing does.
Yep.
How did you get involved in boxing? How did that start for you?
Well, I started at FightFit. FightFit is the only place I've been. We started over at the original place over at I think it's Buckhurst Street over there, and it was just a little squad thing with the squad just to do an extra session on the end. We're always, elite sports always trying to find the extra 1%ers, and I guess boxing was our outlet. Not that it's brand new within sport to cross train with boxing because it is physically tough. And we just kept going, and then a few people dropped out, didn't want to do it, and now we're down to a handful of us just come and see Sheck every now and then, or even our coaches in. I saw my coach in here tonight. He's doing a group class, which is awesome, so we all love it. Yeah.
Is that something that you had previous exposure to boxing, or was it just something you enjoyed while you did it?
Always loved boxing, and I think that comes from my grandfather. Really loved boxing. Growing up in South Africa, apartheid, as a coloured man, so his father was Chinese and his mother was African. I don't think there was a lot of opportunities, and boxing was an opportunity for him. So he certainly enjoyed that, and I think that was a family thing with the brothers. They also got to work out with Nelson Mandela, which was pretty cool. So he came over the family house, which was across from the.
I didn't know he was a boxer.
Yeah, he quite into it. I actually read about that when I went to the Mandela exhibition up at Carlton Gardens there at the museum. But Mandela used to come over the house, the family house in Johannesburg.
You might have to take a few steps back there.
I'm just rushing through this one.
Did you just invite him over? Or did they just invite him over?
Well, this is a cool story. So I met Mum's cousin. So Mum's cousin is the oldest cousin of the oldest son. Yep. So my grandfather's the fourth youngest of 5 brothers. And she was telling a story, just a story. This man used to come over to the house and, after court and that kind of thing. And my grandfather worked at the court as a clerk. And, he would just come over and hang out, and they used to, she used to bug him. And the man was Nelson Mandela. Yeah. So he used to hang out with the family, and I think my great granddad, he ran the Chinese club in Johannesburg and was the chef. And bootlegged a bit of liquor when it was illegal and was making a little bit of side cash. So people used to pay for a few things here and there, I think. I think that's how it went,
Yeah. And then,
all family folklore.
Yeah. Did they get to know Nelson through that? Or?
I think so. I think it was just being across from the courthouse and I think everybody of, most people of color were involved in that apartheid movement and really, banishing that. And my grandfather was big into that. And I think all the brothers were, and he escaped South Africa and headed off to London with, Mandela's close friend and was always a part of that movement.
Was he directly involved with the African National Congress as it was, or was it just sort of an affiliate?
I feel like it's a safe bet to say he was an affiliate.
Yeah.
He's passed away, so I wish I could have asked him questions when I, was more interested in it. Being, he passed away when I was 13, so. Yeah. And, I would have loved to, pick his brain and ask him questions, For me, most of the time was just kicking the soccer ball around with him. That was our other thing that we shared is I played a lot of soccer when I was a kid and we wanted to be the next Mark Viduka. I wanted to go play for Arsenal, be Thierry Henry. But, that was another thing that we shared and that was about it, When you're a kid, you don't really want to know your grandparents too much in terms of talking to them. You just want to... Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah.
No, I'm South African myself. My man's from Johannesburg, from a place called Germiston in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So I've been over there. I spent a month in South Africa. Have you been over there?
I haven't been over there. My family, so mum's just gone over there for the first time. So granddad moved a long time ago, during apartheid, to London. Met grandma, married, had my mum. Were there for 17 years, and then they all came out to Perth and then across the country. So mum went back for the first time at the beginning of last year, and actually took granddad's ashes over and through luck really managed to find the gravesite that my great grandmother had set aside for all the brothers. So it was unmarked. There's everything. Good story she told me. Everything's in a big paper back book kind of thing. Nothing's electronic. So they're scrolling through thousands and thousands of pages trying to find, what section of the grave site are they in, what's on the tombstone, but there was no markings. And so they were never going to find it. And it was just pure luck that they walked across it, after being there for a number of hours.
That's probably has the universe sending them in that direction.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of spooky things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I went to South Africa, I spent a bit of time in went through Johannesburg up to the Drakensberg Mountains, to Durban, jumped off Orby Gorge, which is like a 120-meter gorge swing, which is just insane.
That's wild.
To a game park where we watched having like animals top down.
Yeah, not computer games.
A lot of tourists do that stuff.
Yeah.
My family is more about all the natural wildlife, which is good.
Getting back to the roots.
Exactly.
So, there's any more family over there, or?
No, not for me, because my dad moved there when he was young.
Yep.
And then spent his life there supporting the army, then came back.
Yep.
Yeah. Enough about me, mate. Tell us about the process that you're sort of going through now in terms of maybe trying to qualify for the Tokyo Olympics. Yeah,
well, I'll start with the basics. It's 9 swimming sessions a week, so it's quite a few hours. The 6 mornings and the 3 afternoons. You throw in a little bit of physio on the side, 3 times in the gym, and I come here and box once a week. Pretty full on. We've been going, non-stop since I think we got back Australia Day, or a week before, or 2 weeks before Australia Day. Sorry, and then we headed off to camp up to New South Wales to Wollongong, and then we compete every 4 weeks, just to fine tune things and make sure that when we get to the we head off to the different little state titles that are on, or a swim meet, and that's just to fine tune those race practices, make sure everything's in place, test out some things that are a little less pressure. So when we get to June, which is the World Champs trials, we're ready to roll, and hopefully all the dominoes are lined up in the right spot and we've knocked them over, and you've only got to push the big one over, and then it's on to World Champs in South Korea 5 weeks later, so July. So I've got off to Sydney tomorrow for a swim meet Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we've got 3 more weeks of not really hard work, just fine tuning, really getting the body absolutely into tip top shape. And then it's really like you spend about 10 months of preseason almost, if you will. And then, so I'm not really keen for the swim meet because, you're ready to roll. But yeah, it's 10 months of preseason and then ready to roll for like a preliminary final, which is World Champs trials. And then I guess your grand final is world champs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and do you still enjoy getting in the pool? Do you still enjoy your swimming sessions, or is it more slog?
I don't enjoy getting in the pool. I don't think anybody enjoys getting in the pool because it's always cold. It's never inviting.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I've always enjoyed the hard work. I think finding that end point and then going, well, shit, that's where I'm at today. Let's come back tomorrow and let's, get through it and get through it and get through it. So I always find I'm happiest, which is a crazy thing when I'm absolutely down in the dumps and just, when I'll get, a little bit scared, a little bit, nervous when I see a hard set, but I also enjoy it. Once I'm in the middle of it and you get out the other end and you're like, yeah, that's unreal.
Nobody likes doing that stuff. I mean, before you do it, when I was in FightFit challenge training, every time I'd start, I'd be like, oh god, I'm in for it.
Yep.
And then you'd be doing all these lots of burpees and lots of bags.
The night we did 400 burpees.
Yeah, and the sit-ups and all of that. And you know what? You get through it because everyone's there with you. It's hard, but by the end of it, you feel $1,000,000. I put my radio on after, and I'm singing my lungs out on the way home because you just feel good about yourself. You feel like and you really feel like you've seized the day in a way. That's how I feel anyway. After I did the FightFit challenge training, after that I felt like I'd kick that off and I'm like, good on you for going. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Oh yeah.
If you put in the hard work, then at the end, if you do get the win, even if you don't, then it's just such a rewarding feeling. I can imagine you're on that journey right now.
Oh, 100%. I feel like the challenge training is the process. And the fight at the end of it is just like going to world champs trials or world champs. It's the cream on the cake kind of thing. It's always, you always talk about process over outcome, and going through the process, especially when you get up behind the blocks. It's making sure, I'm thinking about what I'm doing when I jump in the water. The first 50, the second 50, the third 50, into the fourth 50, and it's about going through those processes so that you don't get overwhelmed. And I think,
Is there much of like a psychological sort of aspect to that? I mean, you'd be sort of so ready for it, but when you get there and before that weird silent thing goes up, before you jump in the water, you just want to have a little false start. You have to, because it's such a matter of like milliseconds or something.
Oh yeah.
Make sure that you are in the perfect stance and you hit that water at the perfect time. I don't know how you describe it.
Yeah, well, swimming is
one example of like a psychological factor that would come into play, or don't exert too much energy, don't get too soon.
Oh, 100%. There's so many different things, and that's why we do the practice meets, because it can come down to a little thing of, maybe it was the difference between listening to music or not listening to music, listening to a certain type of music. So I talk about, your energy level out of 10. I use a scale out of 10. And so my natural energy, most people describe me as a 10 or 11 out of 10 kind of thing. So I'm naturally bouncing on my toes. So I've almost got to bring it down to a 6 before I race. So I'm not listening to Eminem, 50 Cent, Metallica, and AC/DC in the marching room. I'm kind of listening to a lot of lo-fi hip hop, a lot of shit that just calms you down, makes you relax. I'm almost yeah. But that's the exact thing. So that, I'm a 6 out of 10 when I'm ready to get up on the block, so that I'm calm, I'm present, I'm in the moment, because it'll come down to half a second was what cost me I missed the Olympics by half a second. Yeah. I missed the 4x2 relay.
Oh, that's
yeah. And then, you come back 2 years later, try to make the Commonwealth Games, and you miss by a second,
Yeah.
So yeah, it just comes down to, maybe I didn't tumble turn properly. So in a sport it comes down to the fine details.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's a real psychological factor.
Oh, definitely, and it was tough after Olympics. I wasn't Olympic trials. I wasn't disappointed that I missed. You know, I was just, I knew I'd put everything in there to get myself to that point, and I just missed out. That it's just deflating, really. You're just like, it's all done.
Yeah, I can imagine. You've literally put in years and years of hard work, and that's the sort of pinnacle where you can reach.
Oh yeah. Hey, there's next year. Next year. Next year's going to be the one. I can feel it.
I'll be rooting for it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So how far away is that in South Korea then? So
South Korea is July. That's World Champs. So hopefully we make South Korea. Hopefully it's I'm thinking process over outcome. And everything goes well, and that'll be a good trial in terms of making sure all the things I do at an international level are really good, because then when you get to the Olympics, everything's magnified tenfold, and Tokyo 2020 sounds like it's going to be unreal. From all reports, they're actually ahead of schedule on. They've got everything done and prepared, all the accommodations ready to roll. Everybody knows that the Japanese are going to be really hospitable and just. Yeah, they just really want to care for you, and they care about you, and they just want to show the world that Japan's awesome. So I actually think this will.
They're an amazing people.
Oh yeah. Even as a spectator.
After the World Cup, all of their fans cleaned out the sections wherever they were sitting. The fans would sit back and clean up.
Did you go to the World Cup?
No.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
What I heard, that the Japanese fans would all clean the sort of area of the stadium they stayed in.
Oh wow!
Would make sure they clean the locker room.
Yeah, right.
Such like friendly people. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Japan for the Olympics.
Yeah, I reckon as a spectator it'll be unreal.
I've got another friend who might be competing in boxing there, so I might be coming over, mate. So if I do come over. And
you've got another friend that swims, Tiggs.
Another friend, that swims. Do you reckon he'll be a stick to Alex Graham? Shout out to Tiggs if you're watching.
Tiggs will be on the team. Tiggs is on the leadership group, so he'll hopefully be swimming the individual 200 and then the 4x2, and then possibly be on the 4x1, I think. So.
Do you reckon he'll be at Tokyo probably?
Oh yeah, there's 90% chance he'll be on it.
That's awesome.
As long as he doesn't slip on the block.
We used to sit next to each other in year 8. In our homeroom class, to stab each other with pens.
So you've come a long way, the both of you. Yeah, right.
Maybe it would have been like a Millie story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome.
No.
Anyways, man, we might wrap it up. I reckon, unless there's anything else you'd want to say to your adoring fans.
Oh, I've got very little.
Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Catch up again after you win gold for Australia.